Hello and welcome back to the Insane Knitter channel. I thought I'd go ahead and do a quick little basic knitting video, seeing as how I have the camera equipment set up. Now, again, I'm using the big needles. These are size 11s, 8.0 millimeters for the metric people. This is just basic knit stitch and purl stitch because I'm a beginner. And I thought, well, maybe people would like to see beginning stitches. So this is how you begin. I'm assuming you already know how to cast on, and if you don't, I'll cover how I do it later. But for now, we're going to work on just basic knit stitch. So I've already done some here, so I can get you started. Now, here you go. When you knit, you want to have your yarn towards the back, and when you purl, you want to have your yarn towards the front. So we're going to start out with knitting. If you see in the front here, these are my knit stitches, and then on the back, these are the purl stitches, and this is called stockinette. I'll show you a different stitch here in just a moment. So in order to knit, basic knit stitch, and most of your pattern, I mean all of your patterns pretty much are going to be knit purl in just various combinations, and I'll show you some combinations here in just a second. So basic knit stitch, you got your front here, and you're going to take your needle and you're going to come through the front of the stitch. See right there? It's kind of, I made these big so you can really see. Right there, you come through, and so now you've got, looks like this. And then you've got your working yarn towards the back, and you bring that around like that. And so now you've got a stitch on this back needle right there. And then you bring it through just like that, and so you've picked up that stitch. Now you have a stitch on this needle, and you're going to want to pull the other stitch off. So there you go, there's a knit stitch. You've just knitted. That's a knit stitch. Now you've got one knit stitch on this needle and 9 over here, because I think I did 10, but I might have more than that. So let's do it again. Knit, take it right through the front, and now you've got your needle coming through the back. Wrap your yarn around, pull it through, just like that. And you're knitting. Look, this is it. Knit stitch. We are knitting. Whee! Knitting. This is the basic knit stitch. This is it. We're just knitting. Knit, 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 knit. Knit. And you just through the front, wrap around, under, pull it off. Through the front, wrap around, under, pull it off. Through the front, wrap around, pull it under, off. Through the front, wrap around, pull it under, and off. And there you go. You've just knitted a row of stitches. Yay! Okay, so there's knitting. Now, this I'm going to show you is a very common mistake that a lot of people make. See how your yarn is right here? Now, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 stitches. But on the other side, this is going to show up as 2 stitches. So if you're not careful and you just turn your yarn over and you leave your yarn at the back, you're going to have an extra stitch there, and you'll just keep adding and adding and adding. Then things go funny. So make sure that your yarn, your working yarn, is pulled back over to the side you're working on. You can move it again later to fit in your pattern, but right now you want it pulled back over. So now you've still only got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 stitches. Remember, pull your yarn from the side you were working to the side you're currently working. Otherwise you just keep adding stitches. Very common mistake for beginners. I've done it myself several times. Now we're on the back side of our knitting. We just did knit stitches on this side, and you can see they're all nice little V's. These are our knit stitches. Now on the back is our purl stitches, and they show up as little bumps, little bumpy rows like that. And you can see on the back, you'll see little bumps right there. Now these are purl stitches, and again for purls you want the yarn in the front instead of the back. And since purling comes from the back, you want to go just from the back. Okay, there's a purl stitch just like that. Remember, for knitting you go front to back. For purling you go back to front. So come in through the back if you're going to purl. So come in through the back, and the same thing. Wrap your yarn around. Remember we moved our yarn. Go under this time and pull it off. See, we're still here, and our yarn is in the front. Here's our yarn right here. Not in the back. If it was in the back, we'd be knitting. So not back there. That's knit. Purl. Purl goes in the front. So purl, this goes under the back, around the needle, slip out, pull it off. Again, under, around, slip underneath, pull it off. There we go. And we're purling. This is a purl stitch. There we go. Okay, knit, purl, okay, purl, purl, purl. We're purling. We're purling. Last stitch, here we go. Purl. Ta-da! You've just purled a row. Now, there's our yarn on the back there, just like that. And you turn it over. There it is, just like that. Now remember what I said. Don't pull your yarn over like that. Don't pull it over like that because you're going to make another stitch. Pull it back around like that. And then you can pull your stitches down, and there you go. You've purled on the back side, which has made a knit row on this side. And that's what I'm going to show you here about different knitting and purl stitches. So these are knit stitches, and they make little V's. These are purl stitches, and they make little bumps. Now, when you make a swatch, we'll talk about swatching and gauge here in a little while, maybe next video. That's kind of a more advanced technique, and I'm still learning about that myself. So right now, we'll just talk quickly about gauge, what I understand of it. So you got your stockinette stitch here, which is, stockinette stitch is knitting one row, purling the back side. That's what stockinette stitch is. Garter stitch is a little different, and I have a sample here of garter stitch, and I'll show that to you. Garter stitch is knitting every single row. This is garter stitch. I'm knitting this for a friend. This is going to be a very long scarf. And I've knit every row. Every row is knitting. So this is knitting across and knitting backwards, knitting back. And when you knit every row, you end up with something called garter stitch. Now I know this looks like it's all purls, but it isn't. If you pull the stitches, you can see the little V's in between those rows. So that's what's called garter stitch. You knit every row on the garter stitch there. Now, this is what I was going to show you about your stitches. This is called mock English rib stitch. And ribbing, all ribbing is changing your knit and purl. So these are the same stitches that I just showed you, only I've mixed them up a bit. So I've got purl stitches, knit stitches, purl, knit, and it's just how you arrange those that determines your pattern. With the mock English rib, you start out with some purls. I'll give you a link to that in the comment section, or in the info section. But again, this is the same stitching I just showed you. This is exactly this. The only difference is instead of knitting every row and purling every row, I just change them up. So it's knit, purl, 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 knit, purl. Just depends on how you arrange your stitches. So that is mock English rib, and it's turning out really quite nicely actually. I'm really liking that. Now what can you do with all these little knit stitches? And I'll show you. Okay, now this is a little swatch I made, and I want to talk really quickly about swatching and gauge and stuff like that. I'll do a video on that later, but what this is, what it's for is when you read a label on your yarn, it's going to tell you what kind of yarn it is and how many stitches you should have per inch to get your gauge. It'll have a little graph on it or it'll have a little tag like this one. This is a great one too, and it'll just say on it right here, you know, on a size 7 needle you should have 5 stitches per inch. So when you measure this out, because most gauge, as far as I know, for as far as I understand it, most gauge is, they're referring to stockinette stitch, which is knitting 1 row and purling back. So we should have, for this yarn, it'll give you 5 stitches per inch on a size 7 needle. And so then you would count, you know, you'd count your inch and you'd count how many stitches you have in that inch. Like I said, I don't really know much about gauge yet. I'll work on that and get back to you. But that's what those numbers on the funny little labels mean when you buy yarn. You know, it'll tell you how to wash it, what you can do with it, what size it is. This is medium yarn because it's wool, that kind of thing. So here's the swatch I made with it, and it, you know, tells me the gauge that I'm using for the needles that I knitted it on, and it shows you stockinette stitch, knitting, purling. Now this is a fun little thing. That's all this is knit purl. It's a hand wrap, and that's it. That's all. These were I made these for practice, just to see what I could do, and to practice something called mattress stitching, which is how to seam things that you've knitted. I haven't done a great job, but I did learn it. I learned it from YouTube actually. So that you can do a lot of things. You can do anything knitting wise with knit and purl, as long as you pay attention. But that's all it is. It's knitting and purling. So this is the ribbing I was talking about. This is knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1 for 4 rows. Remember we talked about rows? No, this is a point protector. Sorry. So this is all this is. This here started out looking a lot like this, and that's all I did. I put on 30 stitches, I cast on 30 stitches. I did 4 rows of ribbing, and then I did stockinette stitch, which is all knit stitches. So knit 1 row, purl back, knit 1 row, purl back, until it was 5.5 inches long, and then I did 4 more rows of ribbing. There's a pattern for this. It's free. It's online. I'll give you a link. And then I sewed it together. I folded it over. See, it was just like this. I folded it over, and then I stitched the seam with mattress stitch and left a hole for my thumb. This is called mattress stitch. I might show you that later, but actually there's other people on YouTube that have done it better than I can. And it's just sewn together with a hole left for your thumb, and that's it. Ta-da, you have a hand warmer. And that's it. Everything is done with knitting and purling. So that's it. I showed you knit, I showed you purl, I showed you what you can do with the different stitches, and that's it. Knitting, purling, ribbing, everything. As long as you know how to knit and purl, you can do anything you want, because it's just a combination of making up what to do with your knit and your purl. And then there's all kinds of stuff like, you know, mattress stitching and Kitchener stitching and stuff to join the pieces of your knitting. So if I were to sew this piece onto this piece with a knit stitch, then we'd have something funky that I don't know what it is, but we could do that if we wanted to. I could totally sew that together and make something random, make like a patchwork or whatever. There you go. You can do anything. This is how sweaters are made. You know, it's just a lot more stitches and a lot fancier pattern. And that's not something I'm skilled yet enough to do. When I get there, I'll let you know. Thanks for watching, and have a